that necessitates the question, when is the governor likely to return? But we don't know. We ended that conversation with further confusion. Maybe in the course of the days to come, we will talk about it some more. But let's now delve into the oil and gas sector. And that is because over the weekend, it was reported that Dangote had come out to make certain critical statements about the Nigerian refineries, about 4 of them, 2 in Port Harcourt, old and new, and then 1 in Warri, another in Kaduna. And he had come out to say, $18 billion had been spent on the refineries repair during, of course, Buhari's time up until Tinubu's government. However, the refineries are currently not working. I remember that they had notified the public that there would be a maintenance period of about 30 days, but that now has been surpassed. The refineries are still not working. And when the refineries were said to be working, some Nigerians were, not believing. They were saying, see, I am a doubting Thomas. I don't think the refineries are producing. But we got statements from bodies like PETROAN, New Bank, and they kept saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, the refinery is doing this, doing that. Trucks here, trucks there." However, we did not see a significant crash in price of petrol as sold in Nigeria. And, they also try to explain all of that. Now, I'd like to remind you that sometime in 2023, we had conversations about the refineries. And I remember with so much data, told you that the refineries, right from Abacha's time as head of state, had been, has undergone, I should put it that way, because it's still a process, has undergone a series of rehabilitations. Abacha, Obasanjo, then I think under Obasanjo, Atiku attempted to sell. Yar'Adua rescinded, it was sold to the Dangote who is now talking. It was rescinded by Yar'Adua, and then Goodluck rehabilitated, and it worked for about 2 years, and then it crashed for about 3 years. Then Buhari came, and Buhari started it sometime in 2016, 2017 to rehabilitate. So a lot of monies have been spent, but like every business, there is a return on investment, and that ROI has not been achieved when it comes to our investment in the Nigerian refineries. So when you look at the headline from Friday up until now, when Dangote made the statement he made, some people have been calling for the outright selling, not concessioning or just outright selling of these refineries. Others are saying, if Dangote can use $20 billion and we've used $18 billion to rehabilitate, why is the refinery, or why are the refineries not working? Should we not be asking these questions? They are arguing. Others are saying, let's forget these refineries. Let's now focus on building new refineries. But oil and gas is fast changing, or rather, should I say the energy sector is fast changing, and a lot of movement is away from the oil, maybe a bit of gas still being used. Could that be our focus these days? We're talking about electric vehicles, we're talking about solar in terms of energy derivation. A lot of these conversations are being done across the world globally. So maybe our focus should not be on building gigantic refineries, but then our economy still depends on it. So should we also be thinking of mini refineries, modular refineries? So these are some of the things that I would like us to talk about. But unfortunately, I've been unable to reach out to or to be in touch with my guest. It's not connecting for whatever reason. I do not know. So I'm going to have the conversation with you and tell me what you think. Because whether you like it or not, our current economic status to a large extent is tied to the cost of energy. Talking electricity supply, and the cost thereof. I'm talking transportation and the cost of energy that drives transportation. So when you look at it to a large extent, it determines the cost of living in the country Nigeria. What would you rather the government do? Would you rather the government sells the Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Warri refineries? Should the government sell them? Would you rather that, or would you rather more investment into the rehabilitation of these refineries? Because, I mean, if you look at it, there is the tendency that corruption may just be the reason why, although on paper we've spent $18 billion, in reality we have not seen the effect of that money spent. Could just be because of corruption. Was it not the other day, I think the last time I was on Hard Facts, we were talking, and there was the news report that I read that in one of the bosses, the former bosses of, I think, was it Kaduna Refinery? I don't know if they mentioned the particular refinery, about 80 billion, right? Did I get it right? Did I get a figure? But some huge amount of money was found therein in the person's account, and I do guess that money was meant for rehabilitation or the running of the NNPC refineries. Also, there are certain reports that I'm seeing this on Channel's television website from 2 days ago, that NNPCL, is tinkering on the idea of the refinery sale, and most likely to list it on the exchange, what do you call that now, the NGX in 2028. The question I want to ask is, because it affects your future, it affects my future, it affects the quality of life that we would have naturally. Do you think do you think the country should sell? Do you think the country should not sell? I'd like to hear from you. So I go to the phone lines now, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. I'm going to take this first call, and I think my guest is reaching out, so I'm going to take this call first while I talk to my guest. 92.3 Nigeria Info, welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling in from?
My name is Jude Ubani.
All right, Jude, welcome.
Like your question goes, I think what should be done now is to sell the refinery, to sell it and diversify into more production of gas. That refinery will not work. I said it on their program here the day of Obasanjo. Somebody asked whether Obasanjo is an engineer during an argument or during as we were talking about it. I supported Obasanjo that the refinery will not work technically. My reason being that refinery, if you check, it has become obsolete. The refinery, the design and the building of that refinery is no longer in use. The equipment itself is no longer in use. Let me give you an example. That refinery, they want to continue to fix it. It's like when we had the Beetle car, and now you are going back to fix a Beetle car. The parts are no longer at the shelf. What you are going to do is to fabricate the materials or the part that has gone wrong.
All right.
This refinery, they said, is undergoing repairs. You can't get the parts.
All right. So we can't get the parts, you say. All right, no problem. Thank you. I've got Robin from HA. Robin, welcome. It's good to have you. What is on your mind, please? Yeah. Yeah.
All the time I've been listening to you since you're back in. Canada.
Yeah, let's get your thoughts quickly, please.
I can remember vividly when the refinery was to open. and I told you it's not going to work. I was arguing with you, and I gave you my reason. The refinery is the mainstay. Oil is the mainstay of Nigerian economy. And Mr. President refused to fly into Port Harcourt to visit the refinery himself. The road they are going to carry the haulage of the product from there was never fixed. And I told you that the refinery was not going to work. Now look at where we are.
Right.
Whether it should be sold or not. Let me tell you, it's a lie if anybody tells me that government has no business doing business. If you go and research, you find that India, they are very stubborn. As a place where I continue to steal our money.
All right, Robin, I have a commercial coming up, but I guess your point is noted. But before commercial, I would like to introduce my guest. He has just joined us, and he is an energy expert. He is a lecturer at the Ignatius Ujiri University of Education. He is also the National Publicity Secretary of PETROAN. And he's joining us to help us have this conversation. I'm talking about Dr. Joseph Obele. Doc, welcome on the show. It's good to have you. Better late than never, they say.
Kalada, thank you for having me. Good evening, Rivers people.
Okay, so I do have a commercial in about, 2 minutes' time. So I'm just going to throw my first question at you very quickly. And the first question is, do you agree with the argument, the narrative that the refineries will never work? I mean, the last caller just said it. Dangote said it over the weekend. Do you agree with that postulation?
Okay, we in Petron want to join the rest of Nigerians to mourn the late president. In the oil and gas sector, we have a lot. So the late former president, the person of Buhari, President Buhari, we have a lot that will always remember him in the oil and gas sector. Number one was the signing of the PI into law that took about 22 years. Within these 22 years, other presidents were unable to sign it. Number two was his ability to approve the rehabilitation of Port Harcourt Refinery, Warri Refinery, and Kaduna Refinery. Let it be on record that it wasn't President Tinubu that awarded this contract. It was him that actually awarded this contract. And thirdly, is on record, the CMG initiative was initiated by him on that line. Anymore that will make we Petro oil and gas sector to forever remember him.
All right.
So on this note, I can go to your waste regarding the report today. We wait after your commercial break or what?
Maybe we wait after the commercial to say yes or no. But it's time, a few seconds, and be the commercial break, and when we return,
But let's continue with the commercial break.
All right, then please stay on
So
the
we'll
line.
dive into the whole details.
All right, then stay on the line, please. We'll be right back after the break. Yeah.
and their review process will last from now to December. To me, December is a long time for this review process. To me, I want it to be tomorrow, just tomorrow. Reason because it's obvious that the NNPC have disappointed Nigerians when it comes to managing this facility. So the best way out is to hand it over to a private firm with a technical know-how, with a reputation and financial capacity that can withstand a competition that might be posed by the African conglomerate.
While you may argue that it is the inner mindset of Dangote, Obasanjo had earlier said it. A couple of people, like, one caller who had called in, before you came on the show, and he has been saying it for months, or if not years, that the refinery or refineries will never work. What is the challenge for NNPCL? Because you've said under private ownership or management, it may just work. And you're saying a private management with the financial capacity, with the technical know-how. Are you saying NNPCL lacks all of these things or all of these qualities?
Kalada, no matter the perception we have about the Port Harcourt Warri Kaduna Refinery right now, that was same perception Nigeria had about the LMF Petrochemical when it was an SBU under the NNPC, and it was privatized to the Indonesia firm by the then President Olusegun Obasanjo to the company called Indorama. And today, the balance sheet of Inter Oil Services on shows that about 75% of their revenue is earned from the activities of Indorama at Onewo. And there was no one single shipload of any product or byproduct from petrochemicals when it was under NNPC via shipping to One. And again, it is on record that the fertilizer competition market in Nigeria right now, as against the Dangote fertilizer and Indorama fertilizer, the Indorama fertilizer is leading the market, while Dangote fertilizer is a challenger, because the biggest chunk of Africa fertilizer market and the Nigeria market is being controlled by the Indorama fertilizer. They are unable to beat it down. And this is a further pointer that a foreign-owned firm with a reputation can withstand a competition that might be posed by Dangote as concerns the refinery operation. This is why people like PETROAN, our leadership and scholars in the oil and gas sector are calling that the best of is to privatize this refinery. So as against the background of your question that Obasanjo and others are saying it may not work, they are not saying it may not work. They are all saying that it may not work under NNPC. So meaning that the best option is to privatize it, to hand it over to a private firm.
So what are the likely implications, right? Looking at the fact that the NNPC is mulling the idea of privatizing it, and they're saying from now up until December. What does that mean? Does it mean that the refineries will be non-functional up until then? Does it mean that there will be, instability when it comes to pricing of petroleum products in Nigeria? I'm wondering what your thoughts are as it relates to these questions.
Several factors poses a serious challenge to the management of NNPC, which involves religion, ethnicity, nepotism, favoritism, and the biggest factor is the national cake syndrome. Whoever takes up any office in NNPC has this mindset of national cake syndrome, that it is my turn, let me get a chunk of this cake until I leave this office. So all these factors makes it impossible, practically impossible for this facility to function under the management of NNPC, and it's becoming obvious. And this is why most persons like us frown at the revisal when it was privatized by Obasanjo just few months leaving office to Dangote and his friends, and it was reversed by the late Yaradua. But a lot of us frown at that. Now you can see it's becoming obvious that the whole Nigerians went on the street to say, return it back to NNPC. Now the NNPC Nigerians did the protest, say, return it back to. They are not saying that it's obvious we can't manage it, and we are contemplating giving it to a private firm. So there's no need debating it further or further argument. The only option is to hand it over to a private firm. But a lot of Nigerians are beginning to insinuate or beginning to have this mindset that the process might be like the process of the power sector, the privatization of the power sector, where they will finally give it over to their cronies, to their friends and lovers and the rest. And this is why we are saying the process should be transparent. And I am even saying as an energy expert that this refinery shouldn't be given to a Nigeria-owned firm. It shouldn't be given to any black-owned firm. It should be given to, and it shouldn't be given to an Asia firm. It should be given to an England or American firm. This is my own position, with a technical know-how, financial capacity, and every other yardstick that we should use in measuring. And it should be so transparent, and it should be devoid of any political process and the rest. In view of this, we will see Nigerians buy fuel at the best price, and again, there will be equity to the host community as it concerns Chapter 3 of the PIA, which is the host community trust fund. So the host community are even agitating and praying that it should be privatized today or tomorrow. So to me, I'm stating that this December, as mentioned by the group CEO of NNPC, I think is a long time. It's a long time.
You are in the energy sector. You have probably had the opportunity to do business in the refinery or with the refinery.
Yes, of course.
Is it a problem of outdated structuring or pipelines or parts, so to say, or is it that we don't have the right management of these refineries? Is it a situation of building new refineries? What really is the problem?
It is not a problem of we as a people, as a country. It is the problem of this facility being managed by the national oil firm called NNPC. And again, we are aware that about 2 years ago, that they have done some restructuring of NNPC, making it a commercialized firm as against the non-profiteering concept of it before now, which is like a welfare package of the nation. So NNPC is now a public-owned organization. Hence, the name was changed to NNPC Limited. So before, there was no limited to it. It was just like a national company and that phenomenon. But I'm putting this to you, like in several cases where we change police uniforms, thinking that the orientation of the Nigerian police will change because we have just changed uniform. It's same. So changing the name NNPC to NNPCL and the rest still remain the same. This national phenomenon, this mindset of a national cake is still there till tomorrow as we speak.
But being commercialized, being a limited is it a limited?
I'm telling you, nothing has changed.
But I'm saying, is it that they have not had investors? Because if it's limited, means investors will buy into it. It's no longer national owned by.
Okay, I'm coming. It was commercialized 2 years ago, and the logo and everything changed. And a year later, federal government borrowed money for them, the $1.5 billion from the Afrexim Bank for the rehabilitation. So what is it? Like, has been privatized, and there's even no one dime federal government will borrow for them to do whatever there. So we are saying, hand it over. The former vice president of Nigeria, the person of Tiku Abubakar, he said not even privatize. He said sell it off. And he stated in his campaign, when he was campaigning at the last election, so if I'm made Nigerian president within 10 days, I will sell it off. So the whole process of we having a viable refinery as against this biggest refinery in Africa is privatizing this 455 barrels production capacity per day to a private firm that will withstand. We see an intensive aggressive competition on the way coming. And who can withstand this? This is another private firm versus a private firm, not a government-owned firm as against a... And you can see the fear we will have anticipating an aggressive competition. The person have come to say this facility will never work again. The person have come to say this facility, and that's an expression of his mindset. His prayer point number one, that it should never function again, so you have the entire market and exploit Nigerians. But I will say this, that refinery will work again. He will be disappointed, but it can only work under a private firm, but not under this present day NNPC.
All right. I do have a commercial in a bit, so I'm going to read some messages. This one says, good evening. It's Kalada, not Chinedu. He said, of what benefits are the refineries? They should be sold out to interested local and foreign investors, with Nigeria holding a minor share of, let's say, 20%. Thanks. Ikegu Etoke from Rumu Chinwere Rumusi. All right. This one says, good afternoon. government is not a good businessman, and corruption is eating deep into its fabric. So the refineries should be sold out, while the government should sell crude oil in naira to the refineries, best in Port Harcourt with that one. And this one says, man of the people, greetings. Imagine the huge amount of money spent on the audio refineries from Tango Ability at Twigbo. And this one says, good evening to you, Canada. For me, I don't want the government to sell the refineries. Rather, the government should invest money to repair the refinery so that there will be competition in prices per government and private participation. A Palibot Taylor Harry with that one. Back to you, Dr. Obele. What do you make of the talk about spending more money to rehabilitate? Because some people are saying we've spent $18 billion already. Why not spend some more to get it working?
The aggregate or the computation done by the president of the Aliko Dangote Group, the Dangote Group, was not just his present rehabilitation, but he has put together the effort made by previous leadership of Nigeria for the past 15 years. And when I checked that data was, I think, close to being correct, because it's like a 15 years funding in view of rehabilitating the refinery. Yeah. But that's not the issue. The first caller or the first commentator you read his comment, he did mention that it should be privatized to either local or private firm or Canada. Let it be on record that whoever is advocating, please remove that name, that word local. Once you say it can be privatized to a local firm, that's where we see this scenario they call monkey hand for soup. And how did they used to call that? How did they use? Canada, get me right, please. How did they used to put that word?
I don't know how to put it, but I'm out of time, Dr. Obele. We have to pay bills. But thank you very much for joining us on the show today. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure having you join us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Keep listening. It's a commercial break, and after that will be the major news. But when we come back on the other side of the major news, we would have open season where I will take your thoughts on this refinery issue. And, of course, we'll still talk about the returning to Brick House that the suspended governor and the legislative arm of government. Good evening. Just stay tuned. Commercial break. I'll be right back.